Hi everyone, and welcome to our Facebook page live stream for Formula Botanica TV. I'm Lorraine and I'm the Director of Formula Botanica, and today I'm here with Timi Ratz, our Education Manager, and we're super excited to be live streaming for you today. I'm just going to check to see if it's all working okay, and in the meantime, Timi, could you introduce yourself, and can you guys please say if you're watching, where you are, where you're watching from in the comments, because we'd love to hear from you. Over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Timi. I'm the Education Manager at Formula Botanica. It's so good to be here with you guys today. I'm sorry, I'm always kind of lost. I never know where I have to look. So I'm just going to look at Lorraine on the screen. So yeah, if you see me all over the place, that's because of that. Okay, so I'm the Education Manager at Formula Botanica, and I work with the most awesome team where we look after our students on a day-to-day basis. So we deal with your courses, the grading, live study sessions, basically just to make sure you get through your courses successfully and you have fun, and just to make sure that you absorb as much information as possible.
Like a sponge.
I know. That's how it should be in an ideal world.
We've got some people commenting already. It's lovely that you've been able to join us live today. It's fantastic to have you here. We've got Vanessa, Emma Sumac, Kate is in the northeast of England. Tell us where you are in the world, because we'd love to know. Someone's watching from Venezuela. Wow. We've got such a global community. And Formula Botanica now has students in 144 countries, which is incredible. Marin's saying, hi, I'm watching from India. Awesome. It's great to have you with us. So today we wanted to talk to you about natural emulsification. So if you've been following Formula Botanica this week, you will have seen Heidi, she's watching from London, but in Dublin today. We've got Tracy in Vancouver, Irene in Norway, wow, still coming in, Dante in South Africa. Wow, Vanessa in Patagonia, so awesome to have you with us. Rita in Dubai. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked then. You'll have seen that we did this, we put this video out on Tuesday, which Timi made, on how to make a natural mint and melon in shower lotion. So we decided to follow that video up with this live stream to talk a bit about the in shower lotion, because we've had quite a few comments on this, as you might imagine, but also just to talk about natural emulsification in the wider sense. So if you haven't seen the video yet, just scroll down. It's on our Facebook page right here. You can check it out. It's also on our YouTube page. It's on our blog. You know, you can't miss it, basically. If you're on our newsletter, you've been sent an email about it. It's everywhere. So go and check it out if you haven't seen it yet, because Timi did an amazing job. And we'll talk a bit more about what she made in a minute. But let's start off with talking about in-shower lotions, because I remember when a couple of months ago, Timi said, I'm going to make an in-shower lotion and we're going to put it on the blog. And my first response to that was, what's an in-shower lotion? So Timi, maybe you could answer that question again for everyone who doesn't know.
Sure. Yeah, you are not the only one, if that makes you feel any better. Barbara thought it was a cream cleanser, because it's an in-shower and it's a lotion. And well, no, it's not a cleanser. So basically the story is that, a lady pointed out as a comment under the blog that she loves this idea because she's always so cold when she gets out of the showers. It's too cold to apply anything else. And I can't agree with her more. I'm always cold and I'm always rushing, either to start work or I want to get to bed. And I wanted to sort out the cleansing and the moisturization in one go, so to speak. So in the past few years, quite some time now, I was kind of addicted to one particular brand. It's not natural. Nonetheless, I still like the whole idea of applying an in-shower lotion. And I just wanted to find out what would it be like to create the natural equivalent, hence the whole idea. So an in-shower lotion is essentially a moisturizer, and you use it, as the name suggests, in the shower just after cleansing. And while you're still standing in the shower, you apply it liberally on your skin, leave it a little bit, and then just wash it off. And the whole idea is that during that even very short contact time, your skin would still get some sort of moisturization from this lotion. And then you wash it off and off you go. You don't need to worry about greasy skin. You can get dressed straight away. So at least it doesn't have some issues like you'd have maybe with body butters or body oils that I ruin many dresses from body oils.
Yeah.
I know. So this is an in-shower lotion. The biggest thing for me about this is that it's really about the actual formulation and the ingredients and when you apply it. So you could apply any lotion in the shower. Essentially, the key here is a higher glycerin content and maybe ideally some occlusive ingredients to repel the water when you rinse it off.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I totally get it if it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we are all for innovation and inspiration, and this is one of those products.
Absolutely. And I think it's really exciting that there are still products out there in the beauty industry that totally take me and other people by surprise when we see them. And it's like when we were in cosmetics at the beginning of April, there were face chutneys and body yogurts and body custards. And, there's always different types of things coming onto the market, which shows you that your imagination is only limited by wherever you want to take it, basically.
Exactly.
So, some people obviously came to us afterwards. Oh, Micah says, I miss Kelly. Well, we miss Kelly too, by the way, but Kelly's having a very well-deserved holiday, and I hope you're not watching this, Kelly, because I know you probably are, so I hope you're not watching.
We will know anyway. Exactly. We will check the data after.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
No, so a couple of people said to us, how does this work then? You're making an in-shower lotion and you're effectively washing it off straight away, a bit like a shampoo, a bit like a conditioner. If you put lots of expensive things in there and it washes straight down the drain, what's the point of making it in the first place then? What do you think?
Well, I think it's the same with all sorts of products, right? I mean, every rinse-off product would be the same thing, essentially, that you just use the very basics for any rinse-off product, and we all know that's not true. I mean, for your shampoos, for your shower gels, you can still use good extracts and good raw materials. And for this in-shower lotion, this particular one, I really didn't focus a lot on expensive extracts because it's a rinse-off product. But as always, we are always investigating and improving the formula. So I already have some more ideas how we could turn it into something different again, just by playing with the ingredients. I think for me, the whole idea of any skincare, whether it's a rinse-off or a leave-on, is the experience as well. The aromas you have, how it makes you feel as like not your skin, but how it makes you feel as a person. Well, you know how I loved opening one particular parcel when I ordered something, and just how it makes you feel. And for me, shower lotion, shower gels, they all the same. You have to enjoy when you're using these products. So it's not necessarily always about do I waste ingredients? It's also, is it wasted if it makes you feel good? So.
That's a very, very philosophical question.
Yeah. I know it's afternoon. The deep thinking is starting.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Leave us a comment below and tell us what you think. If you wash it off straight away, if it's a rinse-off product, but it makes you feel fantastic because it has some high performance or more expensive extracts in it, is that a waste or is it a benefit? Tell us what you think below. So natural emulsification was something obviously we were going to talk about today, which we're tying in with our live study session next week. So if you're a Formula Botanica student, a current one, you will have received an email inviting you to our next live study session. And this is something we're starting to do more and more of, which is quite exciting. So we bring our students together who register like this on webcam, with their webcams and their microphones on, and we put them into small groups. So we break them out into groups. It's very clever. The software we have is amazing. And then our tutors can sort of hop around the room, and people have study activities to do beforehand. Or maybe you should talk about the one coming up, Timi.
That's all right. Yes, so the next session is on the 16th at 11 a.m. UK time. Before you say anything, yes, we know it's morning, but next month it will be evening, so we always alter the times. And this particular session will be about oil in water emulsions and emulsifiers. And we set a task, a pre-session task that is mandatory. So we will be very strict, and we're going to check that everybody has this task completed and they have it with them. And they have to make 2 versions of emulsions with their favorite emulsifiers. There are more details on the registration page. And yeah, so in the session, we are going to talk about those samples that the students have created, or will create rather. And we also talk about probably loads of issues, because emulsification is one of those one of the parts of making natural skincare where people can go wrong. Even I go wrong. Everybody goes wrong. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we turn the whole thing inside and out, and make sure to show them that it can be really easy just by paying attention to certain little bits.
Love it. And last month we did a session on making oil-soluble extracts, which was extremely good. There were 80 students from all over the world, and we're hoping to do more and more of these with our students. In fact, we're planning to do more and more of these with our students. So if you are a current student, go and check your email, because you've had an email about this, and check the classroom, check your dashboard on your e-learning platform, because you'll be able to join in. And it's a great way of getting to know other students as well and learning from your peers. So that's the small advertising section coming up. So I thought, let's start off by talking about what an emulsion is. Do you want to?
Okay, sure. So as we all know, oil and water don't mix. So if we wanted to pour the 2 substances on top of each other, they would just sit on top of each other. And in order to create a stable material again from oil and water, we need an emulsifier to bring everything together, so that we create a homogeneous mixture just by using an emulsifier. In case you need an example, I think the easiest would be mayonnaise. Everyone knows what mayonnaise is. That is an example of an emulsion. You've got oil, egg and vinegar. So you've got your oil and water, and the lecithin in the egg acts as the emulsifier. So that's an emulsion is. Now, within the emulsion, again, we've got other categories where people often get confused about this, whether something is an oil in water emulsion or a water in oil emulsion. And that's often a confusing topic for many students. I think the easiest way, if you wanted to learn emulsions, let's just say you're not a student with us just yet, and you wanted to learn emulsions, probably you'd find oil in water emulsions easier. They are the ones you'd find mainly in mainstream as well. Chances are you've got many oil in water emulsions in your bathroom already, and they are the easier ones to make, I think. Maybe some people will disagree. Yeah. And of course, we've got the water and oil emulsions, which are a bit different. They often feel richer and heavier. Not always, depends on the emulsifier. So this is an emulsion, and we've got obviously the subcategories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're studying with Formula Botanica already, we teach all of this in our diplomas, in our advanced diploma. We encourage you to go a lot deeper. So yeah, come and study with us if you aren't yet, because making emulsions is one of the most rewarding, but also can be one of the most tricky parts of formulating. Now, I certainly know that I've had my share of disasters making emulsions. I remember one time that I made an emulsion, it ended up looking like scrambled eggs. It was so disgusting. Timi, tell me about the disasters you have undoubtedly experienced as well, because every formulator should have disasters. It's a sign of a good formulator.
Yeah, well, the very first one, when I started studying at Formula Botanica, and we had to do the emulsion with lecithin. And that's why I love creating lecithin emulsions, because I could not sleep. It's separated. For the life of me, I couldn't get a homogeneous mixture with lecithin. And everything was so nice, the aroma and the skin feel, but it's just separated. And I still have the same issue ever so often, even with other emulsifiers. Separation is the biggest issue. The stability can be the biggest issue. For me, depends on, you know, what I experiment with and what I want to achieve or what I'm testing. But yeah, lecithin is the classic. And I think many of our students now can tell you that, oh, I want to tear my hair out, I can't make lecithin emulsion. Yes. It can be tricky. But this is why I love it, because I couldn't make it. And I did it again and again and again until I got it. Okay. And now I can do it like this.
Awesome. Well, I've tried Timi's lecithin emulsions and they are the bomb. They are awesome.
They're really good. Yeah, the color is a bit, but it's natural. And, you know, it's great, actually.
It is one of the most natural emulsifiers, which is why it's in our course, because people come to us because they want to study natural and organic formulation. But there are obviously other emulsifiers out there which are slightly easier to use, and we include some of those as well, obviously. So following on from what you were saying about, you've got the oil and water emulsion, where you've got water is the main base, and then the oil droplets are suspended through it, and then you've got the water in oil emulsion, where oil is the main base and the water droplets are suspended through it. Okay. When you're making an emulsion, does it make a difference if you add oil to water or water to oil? Because I know that a lot of people think you have to add water to oil to make a water and oil emulsion, and oil to water to make it oil and water emulsion. Let's check on that.
Yeah, it's a common misconception when it comes to emulsions. So basically, it does matter what you add to what, but it will. Okay, let me start again because even I'm confusing myself. So, when you have an emulsifier, that emulsifier will immediately indicate whether you can create an oil in water emulsion with it or a water in oil emulsion with it. It goes back to HLB, which I'm not going to go into because it's one of those things that that's killing me when you have to calculate HLB. But it's down to that. So the different emulsifiers will create different emulsions. So when you buy one emulsifier, please check, is it oil in water or water in oil? When it comes to making an emulsion, with some emulsifiers, it matters that you add oil into the water. So when you're making oil in water emulsion, try to add oil into water. And when you make water in oil, try to add the water into the oil. But for example, Oliven 1000, it's one of those emulsifiers where it shouldn't matter. You add water into the oil or the oil into the water, it should not matter. Some people say they feel differences. I never did. But yeah, so there are emulsifiers where it doesn't matter. As you will see it in our course notes as well. There's time when we say this and there's time when we say that. And it can be confusing, but we added a note that with this particular emulsifier, it doesn't matter. But I think just adding one thing to another will not change the type of emulsion. The emulsifier will decide what emulsion you are making.
That makes perfect sense. And I should add that if you want to learn how to work with any of these emulsifiers that we've mentioned, we have a ton of information on our blog. In fact, we have one sort of summary blog post that's called Everything You Ever Needed to Know About Natural and Organic Emulsifiers. So go and Google that or check on our website and you'll find it. And it summarizes every emulsion blog post we've ever written with loads and loads of sample formulations. So formulabotanica.com/blog and you're sorted. You'll be down the rabbit hole for hours looking at the hundreds of articles we have there for you.
And it's just growing, that collection is growing because emulsifiers is one of those ingredients that always new ones are coming into the market. So yeah, I mean, I know that the tutors are working on 2 different ones. One of them is a brand new palm-free emulsifier. So I'm looking forward to that because it would be very interesting. There are not many palm-free emulsifiers on the market.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a question we get a lot from our students and also our general followers. You know, does this emulsifier have palm oil in it? And the answer, unfortunately, most of the time is yes. And even the ones that didn't used to have palm oil in them often have now got it in there because their manufacturing companies have just decided that it's cheaper to do it that way. So it is a real challenge. Let's see, I've got a question or a comment here from Dion. Let's see if I can highlight it. It says, with an emulsion, you will need a preservative. Absolutely. A broad spectrum preservative which should terminate all microbes, even those on your skin. And because of this, I have moved to facial oil and hydrolats, which makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, hydrolats need preservation as well because they're flower waters. They're based on water and they can grow microbes too. Which is why often you have to look for hydrosols that are already ready preserved. In fact, there's a whole article on that on our blog as well. So search for hydrosol on our blog and you'll find that one too. But yeah, some people decide not to go down the water-based route, don't they? And there are so many options for things you can make if you want to avoid water.
Oh, completely. I totally agree. I think a lot of people like the feel of emulsion, and when they really look into what can be in that emulsion, and then of course the preservation, many people choose not to use them, but the truth remains that many people really like it because it can be quite light but still moisturizing, and just the skin feel is a bit different from an oil. But yeah, it's really a personal thing.
So tell us in the comments if you've made an emulsion before and what your favorite is. Is it oil and water? Is it water and oil? We've got Dominica here who says, I love the oil and water emulsion, but the water and oil is still kind of tricky for me to make. Well, I have to say, Dominica, because I've got some of your products right here. Here's the beautiful blue.
I'm so jealous. I'm just saying.
Well, Dominica did send me one for you as well, which is here.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. My apologies that I'm doing this live on air. But yeah,
took me to the post office.
That's true. But I have to say your blue treatment serum is absolutely fantastic. And I have the balm as well, but it's upstairs in my bathroom where I'd show it. But yes, water and oil can be trickier to make, although it is more stable than an oil and water emulsion.
Isn't it easier to preserve?
Yes.
Easier to preserve because the water is basically inside the oil. So the outer phase is your oil. The oil is protecting the water, so it's much easier to preserve. You will need less preservative in general. Obviously, the challenge testing is the only thing that can confirm that. But yeah, water in oil can be really nice. I've tried, just a couple of weeks ago, I got myself a treat and I decided to try a brand I've always wanted to try. And their brand, this particular product is water in oil. And oh my God, yes, it's not for me. I mean, it's very rich, so I can imagine it's great for someone with really dry skin, which mine isn't. But it's extremely difficult to spread. I feel like I have to really push it, and it's not good for my skin that I keep on pulling my skin. So yeah, I think with water in oil, you really have to do research and experiments to get a superb one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, all of it's trial and error, isn't it? Which is why we're running this live study session for our current students next week. And if you are a student, we hope to see you there because it's going to be an awesome one. So moving on then, we talked about, the different types of emulsions. Let's talk about how you make them. Do you need professional equipment to make an emulsion?
I would say no, you don't. You can just, like in the video, we show the water bath, the mini whisk glass rod. I do, however, I'm going to say that I think you need either a good blender, the stick blender, or I brought it, I took it out of my cupboard. I used this in the video, which is, oh God, sorry, so giant and heavy. Dynamix 160. Can you see it or not really?
Yes, we can.
So it's Dynamix 160. I don't know how to hold it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can see it.
So this particular one came with this attachment, so you could just remove it like this. So it's it doesn't come with any other attachment. You can purchase other attachment to it. I got it from one of those supply shop where you can get things for cooking and for restaurants. And this particular head is great to blend your emulsion once the phases are together. And the reason for doing so is that when you use this kind of either a stick blender or this homogenizer attachment, you crush the particles so they will stick together more because the surface is smaller. Therefore, your emulsion will be more stable in the long run. So I think something like this it's a good idea to have when you make emulsions, especially if it is something that you really want to make. Or you like making in general, but a stick blender would do. The only thing is then it's really how you use the stick blender, because those can introduce a lot of air into your emulsion and they collapse.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, I think it's really whisk, beakers, water bath. So you don't need professional equipment to start. Obviously, you will need if you want to upscale.
Yes. I remember we once did a formulation challenge, didn't we, about 3 years ago, in which we asked people to make their own emulsion just with a glass rod and a beaker. We said nothing else. In fact, you didn't even need a beaker. It was just a bowl and a glass rod and 3 ingredients. I mean, obviously they weren't preserved. It was just oil, water, emulsifier. But people were amazed at how easy it was when they stripped away all the equipment. And even those simple emulsions made with that glass rod were still stable for up to a month or so.
Oh, no, it could be. It could be. It really depends on what you want. Are you making it for sale? So is it one batch that you're planning on sending off for testing? Or is it something that's for yourself and 1 month you use up a jar? Then it's perfectly okay. So, you can find these really cute. I don't have it here with me. You can find lovely mini glass rods, again, from restaurants, supply shops, Aroma Zone in France. They sell these mini whisks. Perfect.
In fact, we had a question about that this morning on our Instagram account, because I put up a video from one of our course videos of us using the mini whisk, and someone immediately said, "Where do I get the mini whisk?"
The mini whisk. Okay. Yeah, that's Aroma Zone. It's a 10 centimeter, 15 centimeter mini whisk. Is stainless steel, so it doesn't get rusty. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So these are essential. You don't need to invest in super expensive equipment to make emulsions. Now, when you're starting out, if you're making in small batches, a stick blender is probably adequate. Obviously, once you start to scale up and you're making hundreds of kilos, you might need to start thinking about a professional homogenizer potentially. What do you think?
Yeah. I would get the homogenizer. Usually, there are 2 equipments that are really useful for formulators when they upscale production. One of them is the overhead stirrer, and the other one is the homogenizer. But we've got students who love magnetic stirrers. I think for emulsions, I cannot be without my homogenizer. I can deal with everything else, even with a giant glass rod or with a giant whisk. I need my homogenizer. So if anything, and if you want to sell and make emulsions, that's the one equipment I'd say try to invest in. Having said that, this Dynamics is really great. So I haven't tested how big batch I can make with this, but I can imagine easily 1/2 liter or 500 grams easily.
Yeah,
I think, and that's good.
We used to recommend a tool called the Kai Blendia in our courses, and it was perfect. It was just like the one that Timi just showed, basically the Dynamics, and it had this homogenizer attachment, but you could also use it for cooking, and it was very affordable, maybe €200, which I know is a big investment, but it's not thousands and thousands of dollars to buy, which, if you want professional lab equipment, you might end up spending. But unfortunately, it was discontinued, which is so annoying. Just always happens. it. We find the most amazing ingredient or the most amazing piece of equipment that the indie beauty industry can use, and then they go and discontinue it because whatever, demand maybe isn't high enough. So it's fantastic that you found this alternative, Timi, because at least it gives a tool to indie beauty formulators that they can buy, which is affordable and which also allows them to scale a little bit.
No, this is brilliant. I'm happy to post a link to it under the live stream. I got it from the UK. I think it was about £180. Okay. So it's a bit more expensive than Kyoblendia was. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as I said, it just comes with this particular attachment. But if you look around, you will see that you can buy the whisk. So if you want to make whipped body butters, you could get the whisk attachment. I personally use this just for emulsions. I use something different for whipped butters. But I think it's a great investment if you want a homogenizer type of equipment.
Yeah, Dion here says that would be great for my soap making as well. Awesome. You know, another fantastic tool. We don't teach soap making, but I can imagine if you've got big batches of soap, that would be very convenient. And Smile says, looks sturdy. I'm trying to buy more equipment. So obviously we talked a little bit about the hand blender. Is there any other equipment that you would recommend people get?
Not at this stage, no. I think the Blendia and this particular one is great because, well, if you look at the video, you can see how the emulsion just after emulsification, which takes a couple of minutes once you pour the oil into the water, it was a murky green from the green tea wax and the avocado oil. But the minute you use a blender or the Dynamics, it crushes the particles, so immediately changes color. So I think that's why it is important, because by using this sort of equipment, you are ensuring a good shelf life, a good stable product. Apart from this, not really. I don't think, especially not machinery, the usual spoon, glass rod, mini whisks, and you are happy. Yeah, it's enough.
And if you're only just joining us, we were just referring to the amazing video that Timi made earlier this week on, well, she didn't make it this week, but we sent it out this week into the world on how to make an in-shower body lotion. So go and check it out if you haven't watched it yet. So moving on from talking about equipment, let's now talk about emulsifiers. And we've touched on a few already. What are your top tips for choosing an emulsifier?
Well, the basic would have to be, what do you want to make? You want to make an oil in water or a water in oil emulsion. That's the first thing. Second, as we always say, what is natural to you? What ingredient it cannot have, such as the palm-free emulsifiers. So think about as well what your ethos is. After, I have to say, when I choose emulsifiers, I go for functionality. So can this emulsifier handle various oil phases? Meaning I could make something like a rich cream, and I could use the same emulsifier for a thinner, runnier lotion. So I try to use emulsions with a wide range of consistency or viscosity that they can create. So that's my top tips. I'm sure that if you guys are watching, if you could just leave a comment what it is that you are looking for, and maybe I could comment on that as well. But for me, this is what I follow when I try new emulsifiers. But if I am really 100% honest, I often I haven't tried it, I want it. So I don't really think about what I'm going to make with it. I haven't tried it, I want it, and I try it. So, but then again, I don't have a brand. What we do or what I do in the background, it's really for you guys. So, it's a different perspective.
Timi's always trialing amazing new ingredients so that we can share them with the world, which is very exciting. And she gets very excited when we go to shows like In Cosmetics, because of course we're surrounded by new ingredients and you're just standing there going, I don't know where to start.
Indeed. And then when I disappear to Aroma Zone after, Yeah, that was a good trip. I had to go shopping. So no, there are many good emulsifiers. At the moment, I'm trying to find more from the US because we've got huge number of students there in the US, and we want to make sure that we can recommend some good ingredients for them as well. So yeah, just watch this space because we are going to continue our blog series on emulsifiers.
Yes, and tying in with what Timi was just talking about, we also have a blog post on I think it's the 17 tips for choosing the right emulsifier. And if I remember correctly, because it's a few years old already, there's even a downloadable checklist that comes with it just for free on our website, on our blog. So formulabotanica.com/blog, go and find it. And Sherma just said, can you leave a list of recommendations at the end? So I will try, depending on what time we finish, since I have to dash off and get my kids, but I will try and add up the links afterwards with some of the blog posts that we mentioned as well.
I can do that.
We'll put them underneath, as well as the link to the dynamics. But obviously there are lots of different companies that sell it. So we're not really telling you to go and buy it from one particular brand. If you just type in Dynamics in Google, you will find lots of different sellers.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of questions in. Sherma says, with the wash-offs, I think the wash-off emulsions, would it be best to use fast-absorbing oils or thicker, slower-absorbing oils? What do you think?
I tend to go for a blend of both. And if, like, I try to use thick, this particular formula on the video has avocado oil, which is really rich, but it also has shea butter. So if you create something like a wash-off, but you want to leave a good moisturization afterwards, I highly recommend you add a tiny bit of wax and some rich butters. But it's always good to mix fast-absorbing and slow-absorbing oils. I think that's what I would go for.
Yeah, and as you said, it depends on the type of product you're making, right? Because in our hair care, in our diploma in organic hair care formulation, there's a detangler butter formulation in there, and that has quite a bit of butter in it, for instance, because it's really aimed at the more curly and coily hair types. If I put it in my hair, it would just be a disaster. But some people really love that type of sort of heavier, oily, buttery rinse-off product. So it really depends on what it is you're making.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, Dominica, let me see if I can show you her comment. Right. It seems to me that once I make a water in oil emulsion, it's all creamy. And then after a few days, it becomes hard. Is there a stabilizer I would need to use or anything else, perhaps?
Well, Dominica, you would need to tell me which emulsifier you are using, because I have never seen such a big difference in viscosity. I mean, in general, when you make emulsions, it's always a good idea to leave that emulsion for a good 24 hours because the consistency will change. So you may find that once you've done the whole process and it's in room temperature, you fill in your container and then you can't pump it out, regardless of what kind of emulsion you make. And that's because the consistency changes after 24 hours. So if this is what you are referring to, you'd probably not really a stabilizer that you need, but you need to alter your formula.
Dominica says she's using lecithin.
Okay, again, alter the formula. The stabilizer for water in oil, we recommend that you add salts, an electrolyte. I often use just a regular Epsom salt, but that would not make the whole cream hard. So then you need to go back and rewrite your formulation because that's where the issue lies.
Okay. I've got a great comment here from Lola, who says, and I love that you posted this up, Lola, thank you. She says, this would be my first time making a lotion. And she's used the new lotion emoji. I don't know if anyone else was excited about this, but I
haven't seen that.
You type in lotion in your phone, there is an emoji for it now. How cool is that? So anyway, it's the little things I get excited about when I'm on Instagram. She says, is there anything specific I should do or look out for? And I think that's great because obviously we've talked about, oil and water, water and oil, equipment, all sorts of things today. And I can imagine that feels quite overwhelming when you're first starting out.
Yeah. Okay, so I assume that we are talking about the oil and water, which is the normal, everybody knows lotions as oil and water. So I would say choose an emulsifier that is relatively easy to use. And that's why we always recommend Oliven 1000, the one you will see in the video if you check that out. It's extremely easy to use. Make sure your formula is complete, it's all 100%, or you follow the formula in the video. For me, the biggest issue is that make sure that your phases, when you heat your oil and your water, they reach 75 Celsius. Because if it's lower, then they will not, your phases will not emulsify. And if it's too high, then you're cooking your ingredients. So I don't know, you will see that I use a thermometer with a probe, which, well, funny or not, it's a meat probe, but I really like it because my thermometer beeps when it reaches 75 Celsius, so I don't overheat my ingredients. So I would say check the temperature is correct and go slow, but be firm, like just concentrate. That's the biggest thing. The whole emulsification will happen within a few minutes, so you don't need to spend hours and hours doing this. And yeah, so I would say the temperature, formula, and you will be good.
Do it. Just do it.
Exactly.
Because, you will have disasters, and I think that's a really important point to mention. Is things will go wrong. They'll go wrong with every formulation you make, and you will end up scraping some of your ingredients into the bin, into the trash can, because that is what happens when you formulate. And I know a lot of people start formulating and expect everything to go perfectly and then feel really disheartened when they have a disaster. But you have to have those disasters, because you'll learn loads more from them than you will from getting everything right the first time around.
I'd be bored if I got everything right the first time. You need to have those. It's a learning curve. You need to have that dip, and then, oh, I think I know what I need to do, and try it again. Yeah. It's fun.
Cool. And Dominica's been sharing her lotion emojis with us, which is making me laugh while you were talking. If you have any other questions, ping them up for us, because we love obviously hearing from you, and it's fantastic to be able to do these live streams here on Facebook, where they stay around forever basically, so you can always refer back to this. Marcia, our colleague Marcia, she's
hello.
She works. She might be reviewing our new business course actually, since Marcia is going through all the final materials. She says Coast Southwest in California is an award-winning emulsifier supplier. So thank you for the top tip, Marcia. And if you guys have any advice for good suppliers as well, please post them up. It's always great to share these tips with the people around you, because you can only help people out and lift up your peers who are also trying to learn how to formulate. And Lola says, trial and error, just do it. Thank you so much, ladies. Awesome.
Indeed.
Yeah,
trial and error.
In some of our more advanced courses, we get our students to make different samples of the same product in slightly different percentages. So you tweak the emulsifier slightly, and then you compare and contrast. I mean, that is the perfect way to discover what it is you love in your formulation. So turn it into a mini experiment and see where you get to.
I think we could spend a whole day talking about emulsions, and that's why I just didn't want to go into other parts, but our advanced courses will cover various other parts about emulsifiers and emulsions, such as chelation or pH. That is all important part. But if we go into that topic, we'd be here all day. So that may be another live stream.
Exactly. And of course, we're going to be opening up enrollment for our courses in 53 days. I think I've got that correct. The 2nd of July is when we open enrollment for all of our formulation courses for term time. And everything will be open until the 9th of July, so for 1 week. And you can pre-register to enroll now. Even if you're an existing student, you can pre-register for your next course. And that way you will be absolutely informed and be the first to know when enrollment opens. So there's a link, I think it's above the video, so make sure you click on that and you will pre-register straight away, and your name will be on the list, and we'll send you some handy hints as well to get you prepared to become a formulator. So we've got another couple of questions coming in. Let's see. Shande says, when making a facial moisturizer, oil and water emulsion, What percentage of oil and butters do you recommend we use?
Okay, again, this would depend on the emulsion, the emulsifier rather, and also what consistency you are aiming for. The runnier the lotion is, the emulsion is, the lower the oil phase and the emulsifier. The higher the oil phase or butters, and consequently the emulsifier, the richer the cream will become. So I would say start with, let's just say 20% oil and 5% emulsifier, and go from there. Increase, decrease, see how that works. I think the 20% oil, 5% emulsifier is a good way to start. Again, within the 20% oil, you could add 2% butters, 5% butters. It's totally up to you. I tend to make emulsions just with oils. I find them with butters a bit too much, especially if I make a day cream. But again, it's up to you. But yeah 20 and 5.
And don't use all your expensive ingredients when you start.
Oh no, yeah. When I practice a new one, and I think you did that when you were studying. I remember you were telling us. We just get the olive oil from the local shop, or even sunflower oil, and that's perfectly okay to experiment. Yeah. And then swap once you find that it's great.
And distilled water, don't use hydrolats, don't use expensive ingredients. Do not use extracts when you first start out, because if you have a disaster, you'll waste all your extracts and precious carrier oil straight away. So use the cheap ingredients to start with, so you can practice and make sure that you have the right consistency, and then start to use the base ingredients you want and layer in the extracts bit by bit. Yeah. So let's see, we've got, Delia, thank you. She says, it's the first time I'm watching your live video. I must say, information you gave us is really valuable for me. Thank you. And I look forward to enroll for your courses. Thank you so much, Delia. And we look forward to welcoming you into our fantastic student community, because it's not long until we open enrollment. Let's see. Burhan says, if I mixed different kinds of oils with different dried herbs, how can I make it stable for 2 years? Interesting. Should you use any preservatives? I think this is maybe about making extracts. Possibly.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still with emotions. Yeah, sorry, I need a bit of time to switch. Yes, so if it's an oil with dry herb, I assume it's a macerated oil.
I think so.
Then, yeah, I would. You don't need a preservative as such, but we do recommend adding an antioxidant or two. So you can think about vitamin E, or I actually prefer for these rosemary antioxidant or rosemary CO2 extract, which I find is a bit more efficient for these. But yeah, you can use either of them or both of them, vitamin E or rosemary extract, CO2 extract.
There you go. And Suman says, this is the $1 million question. Which is the best natural emulsifier?
Oh God, yeah. I know where is my list. Yeah, I have no idea what to say to that, because there are so many. I find that even though that let's just say you've got 5 emulsifiers and they are all oil and water, they create more or less the same product. They are not the same. For example, with Olive 1000, I really love it for cleansers, for rinse-off products. I also love it because it's very stable. It's easy to use. You can create good, stable product. But I also have to say, the one I go to when I create something for myself is in the UK, it's called the MFVE emulsifier blend. So you buy them separately and you mix them. It's been on the market for a long time. I think in the States it's called Ritamules, if I pronounce it properly. It's already blended. So the Ritamules is already blended. In the UK, you find MFVE emulsifiers. That's my go-to, because the creaminess and the lotion I can create with them is just amazing. So that's mine. I don't think there is such thing as best emulsifier for everyone.
No, there isn't a standard answer to this. It really depends on what you're making. And you know what? I have asked this question as well in the past. And I've also asked the question, what's the best natural preservative? And I've been slapped down on that question. Hi, chemist. Because, again, there isn't a standard answer for it. It really depends on what you're making and the formulation you've created and the packaging as well. I mean, you might find the perfect packaging for your product and then use an emulsifier with it that just doesn't work. So it really depends. Interestingly, one thing we haven't covered yet is soapiness. And if you start to work with emulsifiers, you might find that sometimes you're left with these white streaks on your skin. For instance, one of my favorite moisturizers at the moment is by Neal's Yard. It's the Frankincense Intense one. And I love the smell of it. I love the feel of it. It feels amazing on my skin. It's very streaky. And that is my one negative point about it. But I keep buying it anyway because I love it. Do you know what causes the soapiness, or if there's any way of getting around that, Timi?
Yeah, without being too technical, I think most of the natural emulsifiers will have that soapiness to a degree. Well, Olivia is infamous for that, and hence that's why I like them in rinse-off product. Another thing that for soapiness, I also felt, and I also found that it depends on how much of the product you apply. So if you putting loads on your face, loads of cream on your face, it will feel soapy. So I will always suggest layer it. So add a little bit and blend it in. If you apply the cream like this, yes, it will become soapiness because emulsifiers are essentially surfactants. And surfactants are the ones that foam in a product. If you really can't handle it, but you don't want to let go of the emulsifier, I would suggest try increasing the glycerin content a little bit. Not too much, because then you will end up with a sticky product. Try to use a different gum. When you create an emulsion, we always recommend you thicken up your water phase to make sure that the two phases are stable together. And if you use xanthan gum, which is a very common thickener, that can make soapiness even worse. So either reduce your gum in the formula or change it. Try a different gum. And finally, if you are really advanced and you really know what you're doing when it comes to emulsification, I suggest adding a different emulsifier with your emulsifier that has low HLB. And this is when it gets technical. So for example, if you have, I don't know, you use maybe lecithin, you could add maybe 1% lecithin into your oil phase with your normal emulsifier. Lecithin has a high HLB of 4, I think, or 4.5. So that could help with the soapiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a bit technical, so I'm not going to go, but usually reducing the gum, that helps immediately.
Okay, so we've got a couple more questions here. We're only going to be live streaming for a little bit longer. We've been going for over 50 minutes, and the
kids are waiting.
Pick my kids up from school in half an hour. Let's see. Beatrice says, are there any specific emulsifiers for different types of oil? Interesting question.
You mean mineral oil or vegetable oil?
Imagine you're using different types of carrier oils in your emulsion. Should you use different types of emulsifiers with those carrier oils, perhaps?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
Okay.
What I would recommend is the different types of oil. You check your oils, because quite often, especially the organic cold pressed ones are heat sensitive. So in that case, if you're using lots of precious oil in your emulsions, you may want to choose an emulsifier that is cold processed. So you don't need to heat the whole blend. In that, because like this, you don't degrade your oils, you don't destroy the quality. But no, otherwise I would say no.
Go for it. Just try it out and see what happens. And sometimes things might not work. Sometimes certain ingredients might not work together, but you won't know until you try it. And that's the exciting part of formulating, of course. Okay, we've got Shaista who says, hi, I want to make a sprayable lotion using natural mulse. I don't know what the inky name for that one is, but it must be a specific type of emulsifier, and sclerotium gum. Is there anything I need to keep in mind? So I should just caveat this by saying that Timi makes the most beautiful light sort of gel emulsions, which is fantastic. And I think have you made sprayable emulsions before?
Some time ago.
On making sprayable emulsions in general, rather than looking at this specific emulsifier?
Oh God, I don't really remember. I think the one I made was a cold processed, and the key there was that you had to soak the emulsifier for a while, so it swells up a bit. If that's okay, I would look into this particular emulsifier, and I could leave you a note if that's all right, because I don't really know which one it is just by heart.
Not a problem. Yeah, I think you're talking about lysolecithin that we used in one of our advanced diploma.
No, I think it was the sucrose stearate. That was, and the Dr. Stratman's, wasn't it? The Symbiomules. I think it might be that.
That one, yeah.
We used that one.
We've tried lots of different ones over the years, as you can tell. It starts to get a bit confusing after a while.
Could be.
Let's see, let me just take that one down. Mirella says, hello, loving this, but missed the beginning. Where can I find this video to replay? It stays on Facebook. So after the video finishes, it will, it'll take a few minutes, and then it will just be there for posterity, and you can watch us talk about emulsifiers many times over. And I will also be uploading this to YouTube. So it'll be on our YouTube channel for you to watch. So Dee says, this has given me inspiration. Busy weekend ahead for me now. And I hope things are going well with your product, with your brand launch. Dee, that's very exciting. So I hope it's all going well. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I hope you guys have got a lot out of this. I hope you've enjoyed us chatting about emulsification. As I said, go and check out all the emulsion and emulsifying blog posts that we've written in the past, which are all on formulabotanica.com/blog. Just type in emulsion, emulsifier, you will be inundated with blog posts. Lots of sample formulations, lots of different emulsifiers we've worked with and tested for you, and then written up for you with different percentages, lots of information. Go and check it out. And as I said, there's also that, I think there's that downloadable worksheet as well on how to choose the right emulsifier. So we'll put that link up for you underneath this video afterwards. Pre-registration opens at Formula Botanica right now. It's open for you if you want to come and enroll with us in July, or if you're an existing student and you want to take another course, go and pre-register. Click on the link, which is, I believe, above the video on Facebook and will be below the video on YouTube, just to confuse matters slightly. And you'll be put straight in our pre-registration list. You'll be sent some really helpful information to get you started formulating, and we hope to welcome you into our student community in the coming months. We also have a new course which is opening up for its first student intake at the end of June. Yay! It's only taken over a year of work. It's our diploma in beauty brand business management, and we'll be teaching you how to start your own beauty brand. So once you've made all these wonderful emulsions, we will then teach you how to brand them and price them and sell them. How exciting is that, right? So you have a business in a box, basically. So keep an eye out for that as well. And we'll be live streaming on various topics to do with starting your beauty brand as well in the coming months. So I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Thank you so much, Timi, for taking time to come and chat to us about emulsification.
Thank you. Can I just say that if obviously the guys are watching this video, they are interested in either in the lotion or in emulsification. So if you want to leave us a note, what part you need help with, I would be so happy to create more videos that we would put on our YouTube channel. But obviously I need some ideas or inspiration. I need to know what you guys are struggling with so we can help you.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got all the equipment and I'm so professional now, very efficient. It takes me a whole day, but this is so good making these videos, and they can be very helpful. So leave us a comment what you'd like us to show you in more detail.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So tell us what you want to learn. Please do.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a fantastic week wherever you are in the world. I hope you've enjoyed our live stream, and we'll be seeing you again soon.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.